Lençóis Maranhenses is one of the most unique places in Brazil to visit, but it's very hard to organize a trip there. Why? It's very remote, information is scarce, so that's why we decided to create this video. We will share with you 7 things that you need to know before you visit Lençóis. We are going to talk about what Lençóis is, when to visit it, how to get there, what are the 3 bases, and so much more. So follow this video and get all of your information.
1. What is Lençóis Maranhenses and when to visit?
We are visiting Lençóis National Park. It's located in the state of Maranhão on the northeast of Brazil. And this park is super special because it has a very unique landscape and climate. It's kind of like a desert. As you can see the dunes behind me, and it has miles and miles and miles of dunes. But during 3 or 4 months of the year, we have the wet season here where the lagoons are formed. And the lagoons are made of fresh water because they come from underground water sources. So it's honestly perfect for swimming.
Lençóis is a very specific destination because it really depends on the weather. So it works like this. There are only 3 months of the year where you will find most of the lagoons that are full of water. That is from June to August. So June, July, and August. That is the high season if you're going to try to visit the lagoons. We visited in the start of June, which is the start of the season. So all of the videos you will see here, they're from this time of the year. And as you can see, we saw a bunch of full lagoons, so it was great. Now, another big reason to visit Lençóis Maranhenses is to go kite surfing. And for that, the season is from August to December. That's when the winds are the strongest. May is a shoulder month, which is still a rainy season, but it's a month that is really well known for trekking. It has really good conditions because it's not that hot yet. Any other month of the year, the Lençóis looks completely different. Most likely you will see very few lagoons with water. It's mostly dunes, so it looks very, very different. So if you're wanting to visit the lagoons, focus between June and August specifically.
The 3 main bases.
If you will be visiting Lençóis Maranhenses, one really important thing you need to know is that there are 3 cities you can use as a base. Barreirinhas, this is where we are right now. It's the middle one and it's the largest one. It's the most connected one, but it's also the least interesting one. It's a city. It's not very nice. It's like not nice to walk around. It's 80,000 people, but not a lot of infrastructure.
It does have some pretty stays next to the river where we are right now. That's amazing. But yeah, city itself.
As a city itself, it's not the nicest one. Then we have Atins, which is the only one that is by the coast. This one from Barreirinhas, you need to take a 1-hour boat to get there. And it's pretty special. It's very small. There are no asphalt, it's just sand roads. And you have like these quads and these pickups going around. But you can also walk around. It's a really small village, I would say. And it has a really laid-back vibe because it's by the beach and it's known as a kite surf destination. So they have really amazing sunsets and it's really, we say it in Brazil, it's like roots. We say it's like really raw and authentic.
Yeah, and make sure that you arrive there in Havaianas, not shoes. Not a good idea.
And the last base we have is Santo Amaro, which is the last one we are using. And it's the only base that it's inside the national park. So the closest to the lagoons that you're going to be is Santo Amaro. And so yeah, basically you can use these 3. We are going to visit all 3. You don't need to visit all 3. You can pick one of the 3. They have very different vibes. So just pick whatever vibe suits you better. Because some people are going to like one more than the other based on how they like to travel, basically. So yeah, hope that this video will help you make the decision of where to go.
So here is our recommendation on how to split this. If you're going to be staying up to 5 days, you can choose max 2 bases because transport there takes time. So it's not really worth it staying in all 3 places. Otherwise, you're going to spend way too much time in the van. If you're going to be staying 7 days or more, you can choose to stay in the 3 bases like we did, or you can choose 1 or 2 if you prefer. Our favorite places to stay were Santo Amaro and Atins. So if you are only going to pick 2 bases, we would definitely recommend those 2. If you want some ideas of places to stay, I'm going to leave the link to our hotels down in the description. 3. Transport. One thing you need to understand about Lençóis is that it's a very remote destination, so getting there takes time. The entry point is São Luís, which is the capital of Maranhão. So regardless of wherever you're going to be in Brazil before, you're going to have to take a flight to São Luís first. Just for reference, we were in Rio de Janeiro before, and it took us almost a whole day of flying because there were no direct flights. So we went from Rio to Salvador and then Salvador to São Luís, or we could have gone Rio to Brasília, Brasília to São Luís. It is long, it takes a lot of time, but it's worth it in the end, trust me. Once you're in São Luís, you need to take a transfer to one of the cities in Lençóis Maranhenses, wherever it is that you're going to stay. The main city that connects to is Barreirinhas because you can go all the way through the road, and the main connection is with van transfers like the one we took. This trip takes around 4.5 hours. The van makes a stop for toilet and snacks along the way, so no need to worry. But it takes you all the way to the city center in Barreirinhas. Or if your first base will be Santo Amaro, then the van stops at a gas station along the road, and then your next transfer to Santo Amaro will pick you up there. Atins is the one city that is the hardest to get to because you cannot get there by road. So the way to get there is from Barreirinhas, you need to get a boat transfer that will go up through the river until Atins. This boat transfer will take 1 hour. So if Atins will be, for example, your first base, from São Luís to Atins in total, it will take you around 6 hours, counting 4.5 hours until Barreirinhas, then some time to switch from the van to the boat, and then 1 hour on the boat to Atins. So it really is a long trip, so count those times in on your planning. I know this must all seem very confusing, but if you have one tip to make things easier for you on how to plan this trip is book your tours and your transfers with the same tour operator. We booked everything with the same company. It made things so much easier because things were completely coordinated and we didn't have to worry about anything. Even if our transfer would have been a few minutes late, the tour would have waited for us because they already know that we're a few minutes late. So this was really a game changer and I really recommend that you do the same. 4. Tours. One thing you need to know about the tours in Lençóis Maranhenses is that they all follow kind of the same formula. They will pick you up and drop you off at your accommodation, so you don't need to worry about transport going around and getting to the agencies. You can choose between half-day or full-day tours. Half-day, you can choose between morning or afternoon. The morning one always includes lunch, but the afternoon always includes the sunset. You can actually combine both in the same day based on how the times work. The tours can be in a group or private. Obviously, private is a little bit more expensive, but you have it all for yourself. Most of them are done in these modified 4x4, which have the benches in the back and can take up to 12 to 15 people. And when lunch is included, you usually order it in the morning. So it works like this. Once you start your tour in the morning, the car will stop by the restaurant or the guide will give you the menu. You will pick whatever you want for lunch already in the morning so that when you get to the lunch spot, they already have things almost ready for you because it's a lot of groups going around during the day. This is the only way they can accommodate it, so be ready. Another thing to know is that the tour guides always bring cold water for everyone, chairs, and beach umbrellas. Most of the tours you will find in Lençóis are actually very similar. You will go in the morning, you will visit a few different lagoons, you will have time to swim and enjoy, and then either watch the sunset or stop for lunch. But there are 3 tours that are really big exceptions because they are really, really unique. First of all, you have the panoramic flight over Lençóis Maranhenses. This one is a special one because you have these really small planes which are only up to 5 people. They only work from Barreirinhas and it's the only way that you can see really the dimension of how big the park is. There are 3 different routes you can pick from. We did the one of 30 minutes and we highly recommend it. It was more than enough. There's no need to do the longer one. Number 2, quads. This was one of our favorite tours, but we didn't do a standard one. What we did was book a private quad tour. What this means is that you will have the quads and you will have the guide, and basically you can suggest and say, what do you want to do? And the guide basically created an itinerary with us based on what we wanted to do. So it was really, really a lot of fun because you have a little bit less structure since you have a private guide. We highly recommend it. And number 3, the trekking. Lençóis is actually very famous for this trekking trip. There are 2 ways that you can do it. One is just a day trip. That's the one we did. It takes 1 afternoon and then you walk in this protected area in the center of the park where vehicles are not allowed. And you go all the way to this really large dune to see the sunset from there and then walk back in the moonlight. It was amazing. We recommend it. But you also have the option of doing the 3-day trekking, which basically you cross this entire protected area, sleeping in this local-based community, seeing no cars for all of these days, and just enjoying the views in the lagoons. 5. Guidelines for visiting the park. The Lençóis Maranhenses National Park is actually split in two parts. One that is called the Big Lençóis and the other that is called the Small Lençóis. The part that you can access via Atins has free entry, there's no gates or anything, but the one in Santo Amaro has a really big gate that you need to go through. This one is the main area of the park, so you need to buy a ticket. It comes in a wristband that is valid for 3 days of going into the park. You can buy this on the spot, there's no need to worry about it before, and if you don't have it yet, your tour guide will take you to the place to get it on your first day of tour. One thing to know is that you cannot simply go to Lençóis with your own car. Only registered vehicles can go in, which means you always need the tour. Or you can go in by foot, but honestly, you won't get very far. So how it works is every morning when you get to the entrance of the park, the car will stop, the guards will check everyone's wristbands, which is the ticket. They will check, of course, the car registration and the tour operator. They always have some checks. And they check the car for any prohibited items. For example, you're not allowed to bring glass bottles in, so they always check the coolers to see what you're bringing in.
6. What to bring? Don't underestimate the sun. Lençóis is a very hot place, and since you are going to be spending most of your time outside and on quads, 4x4s and so on, you are going to be exposed to the sun. Bring strong sunscreen. That's the first thing, and you must have it. Second, don't forget your sunglasses. You're going to be driving on 4x4s, you're going to be sitting outside, the sand is going to be flying into your eyes. Cover them and protect them. And the third thing, if you have UV shirt, that's going to be a great addition to this trip, since that's going to help protect your skin even more. Second thing you should not forget at home is definitely Havaianas. You do not need shoes. It's sand all over the place, especially if you're going to be based in Atins, you're going to be arriving there with a boat, you're going to be disembarking in the beach, and that place does not have roads, it's just sand. So Havaianas are a must. And the third thing, mosquito repellent. Since you're going to be staying mostly outside, you're going to be staying next to the water, there's going to be a lot of mosquitoes, so make sure you're protected. 7. General tips. In the end, we just want to share some general tips that are going to make your trip much easier. First, how did we pay there? Since I was visiting with Fê and her family, they were paying mostly with Pix. Pix is Brazilian way of quick transfers and payment method. If you're a foreigner, unfortunately, you won't be able to use that, so make sure you have some cash on you. Most of the places will have an option to pay with a card, but it's a remote place, it's always safe to have some cash on you. When it comes to the phone signal, I am not sure you're going to have it. Some of our phones had it, some of our phones did not have it. We were using different operators. Me and Fê were using eSIMs, so on some places it worked, on some it didn't. Be prepared that there's going to be a time where you're probably going to be out of the signal, but that's okay. You're in this beautiful place, so might as well enjoy it. Pack light. That's one of the things that I can really recommend to you because, as I said before, there are not many roads around here. You're going to be rolling in the sand, so imagine having an enormous suitcase that you need to drag with you through the sand and carry to the boat. Not recommended. And in the end, since this is mostly local tourist spot, not everybody will speak English. But don't worry, you'll manage. If nothing else, learn some basic Brazilian words, use hand gestures, and you're gonna get by just fine.
We hope this guide was helpful. If you still have any questions, leave them below in the comments and see you on the next video. Bye!